Ever wonder how much of your life is truly under your control and how much is dictated by your habits? It's a curious question, isn't it? Our habits, these automatic responses that we've formed, often unconsciously, play a larger role than we might think. These routines, triggered by specific cues, like the smell of coffee brewing in the morning or the chime of a notification on our phones, can steer our actions often without us even realizing it. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself reaching for your phone the moment you hear that familiar ding, or automatically heading towards the coffee machine as you enter the kitchen each morning? These are habits at work, powerful patterns that have been etched into our brains. They shape our lives, influencing our decisions, our actions, our successes, and our failures. Our lives are more dictated by our habits than we might like to admit. Now, let's dive into the fascinating science behind habits. Be sure to check out our time-stamped key moments in the description below. We've broken the video down into chapters for you so that you can easily follow along or skip to a section that is of interest to you. Picture a three-part cycle: the trigger, the routine, and the reward. This is often referred to as the habit loop, and it's what makes our habits tick. The trigger is an event that initiates the behavior. The routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the benefit gained from the behavior. This cycle repeats over and over, and before you know it, a habit is born. Our brains form habits as a way to conserve effort. Think about it. When you drive home from work, you don't consciously think about every turn you make. That's because your brain has turned this routine into a habit so it can focus on other things. This can be beneficial while allowing us to multitask and perform complex actions with ease, but it can also be detrimental, leading to bad habits that are hard to break. Now, let's talk about dopamine. This neurotransmitter plays a significant role in habit formation. Dopamine is often associated with pleasure, but it's also linked to motivation and reward learning. When you perform an action that feels good, your brain releases dopamine. Consequently, you'll want to repeat that action to experience the pleasure again. This is how habits start. But it's not just about the initial pleasure. Dopamine also strengthens the connection between the trigger and the routine. So when you encounter the trigger again, your brain will crave the routine even if the reward isn't immediately present. This is why, for instance, you might crave a cigarette when you're stressed, even if you're trying to quit. Habits, then, are more than simple behaviors. They're deeply rooted in our brain's wiring, learned through repetition and reinforced by dopamine. And because they're so ingrained, they can be hard to change. But understanding how habits form and how they work is the first step to gaining control over them. Habits are deeply ingrained in our brain's wiring, which is why changing them can be so challenging. Not all habits are created equal. Some can have a negative impact on our lives. Think about that one friend who's always late, no matter what the occasion is. This isn't a one-off incident. It's a habit that has seeped into their routine. It might seem harmless at first, but being perpetually late can strain relationships, hinder professional growth, and even lead to a reputation of unreliability. Or consider the habit of overeating. We've all been guilty of this at some point, indulging in that extra slice of pizza or bowl of ice cream. While it might feel rewarding in the moment, overeating can lead to obesity, heart disease, and other health complications over time. And let's not forget about procrastination, the habit of delaying tasks until the last minute. It can lead to stress, poor work quality, and can seriously hamper productivity. But why are these bad habits so hard to break? The answer lies in our brain's reward system. Each time we engage in a habit, our brain releases dopamine, a feel-good chemical that makes us want to repeat the behavior. So when we're late, overeat, or procrastinate, we're essentially rewarding our brain, making it harder to break the cycle. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Understanding the science behind habits can be a powerful tool in our journey to change. It's like being handed a map to navigate a complex maze. We can use this knowledge to identify triggers, replace negative routines with positive ones, and eventually rewrite our brain's reward system. Remember, bad habits aren't just inconveniences. They can shape our identity, affect our health, and influence our relationships. They can become significant roadblocks on our path to success and happiness. Bad habits can hold us back, but understanding how they form is the first step to breaking them. The good news is habits are not set in stone. We can change them. It's not an overnight process. It takes time and patience, but it's absolutely achievable. So let's dive into the process of changing habits. First, we must understand how habits work. They're made of three components: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue triggers the habit, the routine is the action we perform, and the reward is what we get from it. To change a habit, we don't eliminate it, we replace it. That's the concept of habit replacement. We keep the cue and the reward, but we change the routine. For example, if you have a habit of eating a cookie every afternoon because you're feeling low on energy, that's your cue. The routine is eating the cookie, and the reward is the energy boost. To change this habit, you could replace eating the cookie with taking a brisk walk or drinking a glass of water. The cue and the reward remain, but the routine changes. Now, it's not as easy as it sounds. It takes a lot of self-awareness to recognize the cues and rewards that drive your habits. You might need to experiment with different routines to find one that truly satisfies the reward you're seeking. Patience is key in this process. Your brain has been wired to follow the old routine in response to the cue. Changing that wiring doesn't happen instantly. It's like forging a new path through a dense forest. At first it's tough, but the more you walk that path, the clearer it becomes. Persistence is another crucial element. You're bound to face setbacks, it's part of the process. But remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every time you fall, you learn something new about your habit, your cues, your rewards. Use that knowledge to your advantage. Also, it's important to set realistic expectations. Changing a habit isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Celebrate small victories, those little moments when you successfully replace an old routine with a new one. They add up and pave the way for big changes. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Reach out to supportive friends, join a group with similar goals, or seek professional help if needed. Sometimes sharing your struggles and victories with others can make the process easier and more enjoyable. Finally, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Changing habits is a form of self-improvement, not self-punishment. You're doing this because you care about yourself, so treat yourself with compassion and respect throughout the process. Changing habits is a challenge, but with understanding and effort, it is entirely possible. So let's embrace the power of habit change and create a life that's more aligned with our true desires and values. While bad habits can hold us back, good habits can propel us forward. It's a simple concept, yet powerful in its implications. Good habits, like small ripples in a pond, can create significant changes over time. They are the building blocks of health, productivity, and overall quality of life. Think about it. Regular exercise and a balanced diet, both good habits, can drastically improve our physical health. They can reduce the risk of chronic diseases, boost our energy levels, and even enhance our mood. When our bodies are at their best, we're better equipped to take on the world. But the power of good habits extends beyond just our physique. They also play a pivotal role in our productivity. Structuring our day around good habits, such as setting aside dedicated time for deep work, taking regular breaks, and maintaining a clean workspace, can significantly boost our efficiency and output. Imagine the impact of that over the course of a year or a decade. It's no wonder many successful individuals attribute their achievements to the discipline of maintaining good habits. Take Warren Buffett, for instance. He credits his success to his habit of reading 500 pages every day. Or consider Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps. His rigorous daily training routine, undeniably a good habit, paved the way for his record-breaking career. But let's not forget, good habits aren't just about grand achievements or lofty goals. They're also about enhancing the everyday quality of our lives. The habit of expressing gratitude, for example, can increase our happiness and improve our relationships. In essence, good habits are the tools that allow us to shape our lives in the way we desire. They're the silent architects of our destiny, quietly working in the background to build a better, brighter future. And the best part? We all have the power to cultivate these habits. It might require some effort and consistency, but the rewards are well worth it. Good habits have the power to transform our lives for the better. So why not start building some today? So, what have we learned about the power of habits? We've unraveled how habits, these seemingly simple routines, hold immense sway over our lives. We've delved into the science behind habits, understanding how our brains create and reinforce these patterns. We've also explored the negative impact of bad habits, learning how they can steer our lives off course if we let them. But it's not all doom and gloom, is it? We've discovered the how-to, the practical steps to identify, intercept, and change these ingrained patterns. And importantly, we've celebrated the power of good habits, those life-enhancing routines that can propel us towards success and fulfillment. The journey to change may not be easy, but we've seen that it's possible, and that's the beauty of it all. Habits, once our masters, can become our servants. The power of habits is immense. They shape our lives for better or worse. But with knowledge and effort, we can harness this power to create positive change. Like and subscribe to join us on a journey of discovery as we seek to understand the fundamental aspects of human behavior, emotions, cognition, and relationships. Self-improvement and mindfulness starts with an understanding of our behavior and those around us. Here at Human Nature Explained, we believe that by having this knowledge, we can gain valuable insights into ourselves and others, fostering empathy, compassion, and personal growth. Until next time.